Okay, so good morning everyone. This is our third time ni Jorim na mag-usap, and this is our second time with discussion series with Jorim. So naalala nyo, we have questions prepared for him. Those questions were not answered, hindi na answer lahat kasi yun nga, na mauubusan kami ng oras if we answer all. Kaya iniisa-isa namin in a form of discussion yung each question. So, to the theists na nakikinig, this is just a discussion. This is not a talk to badmouth you or to put you in bad light or to insult you or anything na would be offensive sa inyo. We would be they call this, we can't help if you feel na na-offend ka, but the whole purpose of this discussion is just to really normalize atheism para hindi siya maging tabu sa Pilipinas kasi alam mo naman yung Philippines, very religious na country, so we are atheists, and we are exactly like you. We are Filipinos. We like to talk about stuff, politics, religion, God, faith. Lahat ng yun, I know na mga topics din na interested ka. We are also interested with that. The only difference is, iba lang yung conclusion na naabutan namin compared to you. Yung conclusion mo is absolutely there is a God, 100% there really is a God. Me on the other hand, me and Jorim on the other hand, arrived on a very different conclusion. Sabi namin, we don't believe. And we're not convinced with the evidences and the arguments presented. So yun lang. And why we don't believe, that's the interesting thing that you should listen to. Dapat kang ma-interested na makinig. Bakit? Kasi, di ba, wouldn't you be interested with a person na very different yung views niya? In the intention of learning, not the intention of convincing yourself. Pwede naman ganun. If you really want to convince yourself na maging atheist, pwede. But if you are really a 100% believer, you can listen to us, listen to how we argue, para hindi kayong tipo ng theist na very weak yung arguments. Weak because sasabihin lang yung mga typical na theist na, gusto lang namin mag-sin. We're just suppressing truth. We're just lying to ourselves. May mga traumatic experiences sa past, kaya ganun. Those are misconceptions, guys. And those are really weak arguments. We don't want you to be the weak kind of theist. We want you to be the better theist. Like theist na makikipagsabayan talaga sa mga atheists na nagsumikap na matutunan yung topics, nagbasa, kagaya ni Jorim, binasa niya yung the whole, parang almost buong lore ng Bible, the Bible story, the historicity. So, yun. So, I hope na hindi ka ma-offend, hindi ka magagalit. I hope na you share this to other theists as well to have a discussions with your own community of theists. Because, it's time. It's time that we talk about this and hindi natin i-antagonize ang isa't isa. We need to talk. Opposing views, we need to talk to have a common goal. Napakahaba ng intro ko today and I'm sorry if I keep you waiting with Jorim. So Jorim is here. So I'm going to ask one question now, probably two if short lang yung answer ni Jorim, but this is going to be a discussion. So Jorim, welcome and thank you for joining me again.
Yes, thank you for having me again, John. And sa mga viewers, maraming salamat sa inyong suporta. At maraming mga positive comments na nare-receive natin at saka ito ay napaka-inspirational, no? So subscribe kayo kung you are interested pa sa mga topic na kagaya nito at paki-support na rin sa John the Atheist YouTube channel. So yun lang at maraming salamat.
Thank you, Jorim. So I keep on forgetting to thank the viewers, I go on full defensive mode kasi yun naman talaga yung yung impression ko when it's always like that when they see a video na may ang pangalan pa lang sa channel is John the Atheist. The Atheist na. Kasi yung title is My Atheist. So automatic silang magko-comment you just you need to read the Bible. Guys, we have read it. You need to be faithful. Guys, we were faithful. So, ganun. So, we don't want you. So, guys, thank you. And thank you pa din sa support. So, we're growing. So, right now, we have 617 subscribers. And
Wow.
That's a lot. Imagine in this house, papasok yung 617, mapupuno tong bahay namin.
Oh.
Imagine people listening to your channel. So that's really overwhelming. That's 617 people. So salamat. So let's start, Jurim. So my question ako for you today. Let me just pull that up. This question is from Franz Quijano. Again, we have questions na tinatanong ng mga users na members ngayon ng Discord channel ng Filipino Atheist na Discord. So, si Franz Quijano nagtanong siya. Ito yung question niya. Do you agree with the scholarly consensus that there's an actual historical Jesus? If yes or no, why?
Okay, so Franz, maraming salamat sa iyong napakagandang tanong. At ang pinaka-maikli kong sagot dyan ay yes. Bakit? It's because according sa consensus, sa most of the scholars of the New Testament, the first century or first 3 centuries ng Christianity, mostly sa mga scholars na nag-google ng kanilang oras para pag-aralan ang mga pangyayari doon, is that they are convinced that there was a man from Galilee named Jesus, and he really existed, as a human being, as a person. So yun ang consensus sa history, sa mga scholars. So the man Jesus, or the Jesus of Nazareth na pinag-uusapan ng mga scholars, ay yung simple individual lang, may nag-comment kasi dyan sa isa sa ating mga video na pag-usapan din natin yung mga views ng Christians, ng mga theists, kung ano ba yung view nila before natin bigyan ng ating criticism. Ilagay muna natin kung ano yung pagkaintindi nila kay Jesus. So sa Christian view, kasi nanggaling din ako sa Christian na background, ang view ng mga Christian is that there was a man, Jesus. He is a man, but he also a God. He was 100% human being, at the same time 100% divine din yung Jesus na yan. So ang nangyari is siya ay bumaba kasi part siya ng Trinity, the second member ng Trinity, si Jesus, at siya ay nagpakatao. Ibig sabihin, siya ay hindi tao at siya ay nagsuot ng bahay, kasi yung tawag doon sa ating katawan, ito ay bahay. Nagbahay, So ito ay pumasok siya sa isang flesh, si Jesus, at siya ay nagiging human. And ang purpose niyan is for him to feel the pain of the cross, Kasi yun yung purpose niya. Dapat siya ay mamatay, siya ay maipako sa krus upang tayo ay maligtas sa ating kasalanan. So, may mga nagtanong na how about those people who are before pa kay Jesus? Are they also saved by the cross? So, ang basic na Christian view diyan is, of course, they're also saved because retrospective kasi yung yung death sa cross. So, those people who died before Jesus and those people comes after the cross will also be saved by his blood. Kasi nga pinasok niya yung hell, pinasok niya yung realm sa Hades, at saka kinuha niya yung mga tao doon.
Wait,
including
Hades? Why did you mention Hades? May character sa Hades, Di ba sa yan?
Sa Greek mythology?
Oo.
Na-mention kasi sa sa Old Testament, sa New Testament, by the way, na ang realm ni Hades ay yun ang pinasok ni Jesus na upang kunin doon ang kanyang mga tao. So including na yung mga namatay doon sa panahon ni Noah, yung mga sa panahon ni Abraham, at saka nung sa whole Old Testament, pati na yung mga prophets no, na namatay, they're being rescued by Jesus. According sa Book of Peter, Second Peter, no, yung doon na-discuss din yan. At also sa Book of Hebrews. So if you're interested, tingnan nyo yung book, dalawang book na yan. So, at ang basis kung paano naligtas yung mga tao doon, sa pamamagitan ng kanilang pananampalataya. So by faith, Abraham was saved, something like that. So ganyan yung mga view ng theist. So sa historical point naman o sa historical view, iba yung Jesus kasi ang Jesus na nakilala natin ay hindi yung totoong nag-exist talaga na Jesus kasi na-deified siya sa view na yun. So meron siyang glorification, meron siyang status na mataas na kaniyang status sa simula and then nagpakababa siya upang tayo maligtas. So yun ang view. But sa historical perspective ay ito ang nangyari. There was a preacher from Galilee on the town of Nazareth named Jesus na dahil sa kaniyang high view, sa kaniyang sarili na siya yung magbibigay ng kaligtasan sa nation, no, sa bansang Israel, at siya ay self-proclaimed Messiah kasi si Jesus, no. Pinatotohanan niya sa kanyang sarili at sa kanyang mga followers na siya yung matagal na nilang hinihintay na Messiah o yung King, no, na magtatayo ng kingdom dito sa earth. So, yun, naging failure yan kasi nga nag-guilty siya sa isang kaso, no, against the Roman law. Yung kaso na tinatawag nating sedition kaya siya ay napako sa cross at saka ang kanyang mga mission ay nagiging mission field, no, kung ating mission field si Jesus sa kanyang binabalak, no, na maitayo ang kingdom dito sa sanglibutan, no. So yun ang Jesus na nakilala sa history or sa mga scholars na nag-aaral dito. So am I convinced of that? Yeah, I'm convinced that there was a man, Jesus.
Okay. So, okay. Summarize ko sa perspective ng Christian, parang not demote, pangit yung term. Parang he forced himself to become a God, to become a person. So, from a deity to a person para ma-cleanse tayo sa sins niya. And you're saying na even before Jesus, na-cleanse siya, na-cleanse yung mga tao before Jesus and after. And then, it's a Trinity. There's this Jesus, there's a God, there's a Holy Spirit. And yun yung story. That's the Christian perspective. There's another perspective, which is the historical Jesus. So, it's another perspective or it's just connected siya sa Christian perspective somehow? Are they separate? Like
no, napaka different, no, ng Jesus sa history. Yung historical Jesus at kanyang divine Jesus.
Divine Jesus. Okay.
Iba sila.
Do you know anyone like may kilala ka ba na I mean, my question is, sino tong mga historical na Jesus? Are they atheists or are they also priests na Katoliko?
Napakarami nila, no. May mga Christian, mayroon din mga atheists, mayroon mga agnostic. So halimbawa sa mga agnostic atheist na scholar ng New Testament is Bart Ehrman.
Okay.
Sa mga
Bart Ehrman.
Okay. Sa Christian naman na na scholars ay kagaya nila Daniel Wallace, si William Lane Craig, hindi ko ma-consider na parang scholar siya, parang apologist lang siya. Si James Tabor. James Tabor medyo iba siya dahil naniniwala siya, no, sa God ng Old Testament. Okay. Even though yung kanyang view sa historical Jesus historical Jesus ay iba sa mga naniniwala sa God, but nonetheless he is parang theist pa rin siya, no. Pero iba lang kanyang aspect. At saka marami pa, Mike Licona, mga scholars din yan sa New. Marami sila. So, iba-iba ang kanilang perspective, but they have this consensus na there was a man, Jesus, na nag-i-exist no, sa Galilee.
Okay. So, share ko lang, Jorim, kasi we prepared with this question. So, I skimmed through the internet for the historical Jesus, mga ganon, sa perspective ng isang atheist na hindi kagaya mo, na nag-dive deep talaga sa whole lore ng Bible. So ako naman, yung basis ko naman is this. It's very weak. It's very weak kasi wala akong mabigat na, of course, foundation for this belief. But I also agree with the historical Jesus. I think there was a Jesus at some point. Kasi if you observe our surroundings, nagsusulputan naman talaga yung mga Jesus-like, yung mga prophet-like na mga personality. So, for example, nakalimutan ko ang name ni Buddha, but si Buddha, di ba? Nung na-Buddha siya, sino pangalan nun?
Kagaya nila Krishna, ganyan?
Hindi si Krishna. Oh, wait. Sorry, but I forgot. But person na nagka-gain ng following. So, for example, ngayon, si Kibuloy, di ba? So, he said, not to make fun of him, baka totoo nga talagang appointed son of God siya, but sorry, I laughed, sorry. But, something like that, na people believe in you, and then, si Siddhartha Gautama. So, it's a real person. It's a real person. So, mga ganun na may mga nag-gain na following, and may yung mga words nila at that time is really different. So, I can believe that there really is a Jesus, because bakit may mga naisulat? But may mga, of course, my side of me na brain na sasabihin na invento to kasi the Romans want to control a certain population, kaya may ginawa silang ganito, and then napasa-pasa na. That's one side of my brain, but the other side is there could really be a Jesus many years ago, and he spoke about stuff na very new sa age na yon. For example, the way itrato yung slaves. So right now, we don't ever condone slavery, right? But at the time of Jesus, he created some parang mga laws to protect the slaves. So in a way, it's a revolution. It's a revolution kind of thinking. But I know that there are already personalities way before Jesus na may mga ganun ng ideas about slavery, na ayaw talaga nila sa idea ng slavery. But here comes Jesus na nagsasalita in front of people na I think many would really love. Ang view pa niya sa classes is mas prefer pa ni Jesus yung mga pulubi versus the rich, di ba? So, but iba na yung view natin now, right? We don't antagonize the rich. We view them as equal, right? But Jesus, on the other hand, is parang yung old school way na I protect tawag dito, mas prefer niya mapunta sa langit. What's the verse? Alala mo yung verse dyan, Jorim, about
nasa Matthew chapter 6.
Yung sinabi niya about the poor getting into heaven. Mas
Matthew chapter 19.
Pakibanggit na yan, Jorim.
Nasa Matthew chapter 19 yan.
Matthew.
It is easier for a rich man to enter into sa makapasok siya sa butas ng karayom kaysa pagpasok sa kingdom of God.
Yeah.
So parang sarcastic si Jesus doon eh.
Sarcastic yun?
Paano ka makapasok sa butas ng karayom, di ba? So sabi niya, madali lang.
Okay.
So kasi parang ang point kasi niya dito is, kung mayaman ka, mahirap ka talaga, mahirap iwanan yung kayamanan. So mas mabuti pa siguro sa iyo makapasok ka sa butas ng karayom. Parang nagjo-joke siya doon eh. Kasi napakalaki ng pintuan ng kingdom, tapos hindi ka makapasok. Ay siguro sa butas ng karayom kapasok ka.
I see.
Parang ganun yung sinabi niya.
So
sarcastic 'yan.
So yun yung perspective ko na there could be a Jesus kasi we observe na may mga nagsusulputan talagang tao throughout the ages na iba yung view about about the current understanding ng parang revolution talaga. So but here's my question, Jorim, since napunta tayo sa historicity, ano yung verifiable evidence for it? Kasi I only have this idea na there could be a God based on my common sense na may mga nagsusuputan talagang tao na mga speaker kind or mga messiah kind or mga prophet kind. May mga verifiable evidence pa na there really is a Jesus of Nazareth?
Oo, meron tayong mga ebidensya dyan. So before I answer that question dyan, gusto ko munang i-lay out yung whole, anong tawag dito, yung whole view ng panahon niya. So, ang bansang Israel, meron kasi silang tinatawag na golden era. Meron silang golden era yung panahon ni Solomon kasi napakayaman lang nila nung panahon na yon, sa panahon ni David. At saka nangyari yung mga panahon na sila ay nasakop, sila ay nasakop ng Babylonia, Persia, Medes, Assyria, at saka dumating na din yung Greek, yung si Alexander the Great, at saka pagkatapos na naman nun ay yung Roman naman empire yung sumakop sa Israel. So during this time of captivity, na-create din yung idea of apocalypticism, yung view na someday God will establish His kingdom here on earth, na yung lahat ng mga kingdoms ay luluhod sa paanan ng Diyos at sila ay sasamba sa Diyos. At ang Israel ay makapasok sa kingdom kung saan there will be no suffering, there will be no pain, there will be no sword, there will be peace, in short. So ito yung pinaniniwalaan nila, ang tawag dito ay apocalypticism, na there will be a utopian era sa kanilang panahon kasi nga sila ay nag-suffer, so kasi napakaluma na yung question kasi na why do the righteous suffer? So yun yung mga tanong ng mga Hudyo ng panahon na sila ay nasakop, where is God at bakit tayo nagsasuffer? Kung siya nandito, nasaan siya?
Ang sagot nila is yung apocalyptic na
apocalypticism. Kasi ito yung mga prophets na nagsasabi na, don't worry because God will establish His kingdom here on earth. So yung mga kingdom dyan na nagsakop sa atin, mawawala yan, madidestroy yan sa panahon na ang God ay maghari na dito sa mundo. At meron siyang hari na ipapadala, So yun nga yung line ni David, yung Messiah, yung pinihintay nila. Kasi there was also a promise in the Old Testament where the line of David will not be shortened by kanang mga king. So there will be, hindi mapuputol yung succession. Meron talagang king na lalabas sa line ni David. Pero nung time na sila ay nasakop, nawala na yung mga king kasi nga namatay na sila lahat . So meron mga assassination, mga 8 taong gulang pa lang yung potential na maging king, na assassinate na, hanggang sa wala na talagang nation na Israel, wala nang kingdom, wala nang matatawag natin the kingdom of Israel. So these people are encouraging the masses, the people of Israel na, hey, God will kanang intervene and He will make the empires that subjugated us as His servants, maging sa footstool ng kanyang yung pa doon luluhod ang lahat ng kingdom. So ito yung pinanghahawakan nilang promise, ng mga prophets. At saka maraming nagsilabasa na, hey, I'm the one. So yun nga, hinihintay nila na siya ay magsimula ng revolution against those occupiers. At saka kung makikita nilang siya ay nagtagumpay, ito na nga siya, So, they're hoping for a Messiah, very physical o very, very mundane yung kanilang inihintay na sila ay ma-save sa captivity. Maalis na yung mga foreign occupiers sa kanilang lupa. At yun nga, yung Messiah ng God na yung kanyang ipadala ay magkaroon ng kingdom dito sa mundo. At of course, doon nga sa Jerusalem. So, in the book of Isaiah, napakalinaw doon, yung mga description about this utopian era. At saka yun nga, nung pagdating ng between testamental periods, kasi the Old Testament ends at around 300 to 200 BCE, at yung panahon ni Jesus ay nandito sa 4 BCE. So there was a 2 or 300 years of silence, tinatawag na yan eh. So sabi nga na 400 years of silence. So during those times, may nagsisulputan na ng mga Christ-like figure o mga Messiah figure na nagsasabi, ako ang hinihintay ninyo. So ang nangyari sa mga taong ito ay sila ay namatay or pinatay dahil nga meron silang kasalanan na tinatawag na sedition, kasi yan sa pag-aalsa kasi yung ginagawa nila sa gobyerno, gobyerno ng Roman Empire. So sila ay yung paraan nila ng paglitis sa mga low life, mga individuals, yung mga robbery, yung mga criminals, at saka yung mga nag-start ng revolution against Roman rule. Nabulol ako doon So ipapako nila. So yun din yung nangyari kay Jesus, he claimed to be the Messiah, meaning the one who will restore the nation of Israel, at siya ay napatay sa cross dahil nga siya ay, according sa Roman law, siya ay nagkasala ng sedition. So ito yung background, ito yung human Jesus. And then his disciples now are very disappointed. Disappointed yung kanyang disciples dahil nga hindi natupad yung kanyang pinangako. So there always be this cognitive dissonance nangyayari sa mga followers ng kahit sino, kahit titingnan natin yung history, there will always be a reason why naging failure yung unang pangyayari. Halimbawa ng Jesus, sa first century, nag-failure siya. So sabi ng kanyang mga devoted followers, babalik siya. There will be a second coming. So dito na lumabas yung idea dyan ng second coming. Kasi nga, failure yung first. So don't worry because Jesus will come back. So yun yung idea. So to answer your question now, because na-layout ko na yung foundation, ito kasi yung basis ng historical Jesus. So ibang-iba siya sa view ng Christian. To answer your question, are there any evidence of his existence? According to Bart Ehrman, sa kanyang book na Did Jesus Exist? May naisulat siyang libro kasi dito dyan. Sabi niya doon na si Apostle Paul, wala naman kasi nag-argue na si Paul ay hindi nag-exist eh. So the consensus of the historians are convinced that there was really a man named Saul from Tarsus. At saka na-verify nga niya yung kaniyang writings kasi nga there were 13 supposed epistles from Paul sa New Testament, but according to the study, only 7 are the genuine Pauline epistles. Yung the rest na ginagamit ang kanyang pangalan ay yung tinatawag na mga forgery. Yan nga sinasabi dito. Sabi doon na I am really Paul and I'm writing this to you. I'm writing with my own hand and I am not lying. So yun yung mga ginagamit ng mga forgers to make their view relevant sa Christian community. So magsusulat sila na gamit yung mga pangalan ng mga sikat na apostles, kagaya ni Apostle Pablo. Kaya nga maraming mga nag-exist na mga forgery noong time na yun. Now, but there were authentic mga genuine nga letters na sinulat ni Pablo, yun nga 7 epistles. At base doon sa mga authentic na mga epistles ni Paul, there was really a man named Jesus because Paul knew Jesus' brother. Alam niya kung sino yung mga nakilala niya personally yung mga kapatid ni Jesus. At saka he was able to meet some of his close disciples like Peter, yung mga close disciples ni Jesus. Na-meet niya yun. So it is a malaking point ito na there was really Jesus of Nazareth because Paul have met some of his close circles like his brothers and also his close disciples. And also another proof of his existence is that he was crucified by by Romans, no, na crucify siya. So that is that
Anong reason
yan
na
yung
na-crucify siya? Sorry. Anong reason na na-crucify siya?
The act of sedition, kasi gusto niyang i-overthrow yung Roman Empire. So kaya nga sa pangyayaring yon, anong 66 CE, merong revolution, no, yung mga Jew against the Roman Empire, na ang resultan nga niyang ng campaign na ito nung 70 CE ay na-destruct yung Jerusalem. Doon nagsimula yung yung war between the Romans and the Jews. Nasa history yan, proven sa history yan.
Okay. I see. So again, to recap, kung nagets ko yung both sides. So what you're saying, Jorim, is there's this Christian story, yung the religious na view na God nagpakatao si God to suffer the human suffering and pagbayaran yung mga kasalanan ng mga tao. So he morphed into a person, like a human, katawang tao siya. And then he got crucified. He felt the pain. He went to hell and he felt the pain as well doon sa hell. Okay. So nagsuffer din siya doon sa hell. So that's the story. It's to save humanity. It's to teach humanity with God's words, yung mga pinagbabawal ni God. Yun yung perspective ng religious talaga, right? Crucify siya because naging threat siya sa isang empire na hindi gusto yung mga ganung klaseng salita. Parang criticizer siya sa government at that time, kaya na-crucify siya. And then yun nga, after he got crucified, it's a proof na talagang deity siya or God talaga siya, kasi na resurrect siya after 3 days. And on top of that, he has this God powers. Like he can resurrect the dead, he can walk on water, turn water into wine. He can resurrect a dead person, he can make a blind man see again. Perform miracles in general. So yun yung perspective ng religious and yung naniniwala na divine si God. So there's this another perspective though, guys, na there are people like myself na naniniwala na there really is Jesus. So you might be wondering, hey, you said you're an atheist, but bakit ka naniniwala na merong Jesus? So here's the thing. Based on na story ni Jorim, sabi nga niya, yung perspective naman daw ng historical Jesus is there is a Jesus, may mga followers siya, he taught new things, but yung mga miracles, hindi mo nabanggit, Jorim, pero hindi sila naniniwala sa mga miracles na claim sa Bible, right?
Oo, kasi yung pag babasihan natin yung historical na yung perspective, hindi mo ma-verify kasi yung miracles.
So they heard the claims, but they don't really believe in it because there's no way to verify whether those claims are true. So they heard na Jesus walked on water, but they can't verify it. Jesus resurrected after 3 days. They have records of that, but they can't verify it. So they believe they are 100% certain that there really is a Jesus of Nazareth. They have a follower. He has a following, except that hindi siya yung dinescribe ng divine Jesus. He's just a person who did things at that time. He has a following, and then na-disappoint niya yung government, kaya siya pinatay. And the people na nag-follow sa kanya was sad, was devastated, kasi they thought na yun na yung magdadala sa kanila sa isang world na peaceful, na hindi na sila sinasakop. So they have this wishful thinking, which initially is also a wishful thinking. They are wishing for a Messiah. So ilang years throughout history na nag-i-expect sila na may dadating na Messiah. Ilang beses na ding may lumabas na Messiah na nag-claim na sila daw, except that namatay sila. And then many Jesus figures ang nag-appear before Jesus. But then here comes the one na they really believe na ito na talaga, no doubt. This guy is it. This will save us. Napatay siya. So they were really devastated. Kaya that's the reason why there's this another idea about second coming. Kasi they can't accept it. They can't accept that he died. So parang since they really think that this guy is really special, babalik pa to. Promise babalik pa to siya. And they failed.
Yeah.
Yeah, kasi
until now
kasi walang bumalik. Right? So tama ba yung pagka-summarize ko or may mga kulang ba or do you want to
gusto ko lang idagdag dun sa summary ni John na if you are going to examine sa New Testament, it is highly embellished, meaning ito ay samot-saring dito mga invention ang nagsisulputan, no?
Okay.
Kagaya ng idea na siya ay kasi nung siya ay namatay diyan, hindi nila matanggap. So they invented a story to make it more kanang understandable na sa mga disciples. Why did Jesus die? So kung siya na talaga yung hinihintay nating Messiah, bakit siya namatay? No, so nangyari yung idea na yung tinatawag na exaltation view. He was a human, and then at the time na siya ay ang tawag dito, siya namatay na, nung mga ilang years na nag-follow doon sa kanyang pagkamatay ay meron nang nagsisulputan mga ideas kung bakit siya namatay, no? At yun nga ang isa doon yung tinatawag na exaltation view, na siya ay God in the flesh. So hindi naman talaga niya plano mag-establish ng kingdom dito sa mundo. Gusto lang niya ay mailigtas tayo sa ating kasalanan. Kasi yun yung bondage sa atin O doon tayo nasagop talaga. So yung mga Roman Empire dyan, yung mga ibang mga kingdoms yan na nag-captive sa atin, wala yan. Kasi ang pinakatotoong kalaban natin ay yun yung kasalanan. Kaya yung purpose talaga na dito ay mamatay sa cross upang tayo mailigtas. So hindi physical na kaligtasan yung pinag-uusapan. So yun ang mga istorya nangyayari. At para magiging plausible pa ito at para maging napaka-interesting pa talaga itong pakinggan, yun nga, yung dinidescribe nilang human Jesus na gumagawa ng mga miracles, nagre-resurrect ng mga namatay, nakapaglakad sa tubig, yung ganyan mga miracles. That is to prove na siya talaga yung hinihintay natin, pero ang point niya is to die in the cross. So yun talaga ang nangyari. Oo. So yun yung mga explanation nila, yung mga explanation.
Very interesting. Gusto ko lang i-confirm, Joryman, kung tama yung pagkaintindi ko talaga. Yung mga Jew na always sinasakop ng other countries, are they hoping for a godlike figure o tao lang na person lang talaga?
They're hoping for a human talaga. Line ni David kasi yung hinihintay nila. In the book of Isaiah, sabi doon, a stamp of Jesse will come. Kasi pag sinabi yung stamp of Jesse, ibig sabihin yan, yung descendant ni Jesse. Yung descendant, si Jesse kasi, yan yung ama ni David. So, galing sa loins, galing sa, kung i-vulgar natin yung words, galing sa sperm ni David, manggagaling yung tinatawag nating Messiah.
Insert ko lang, Joryma.
So, very human.
Insert ko lang, Joryma. Hindi naman very human ang Game of Thrones kasi may mga napanood man ng Game of Thrones.
Hindi ako masyadong interesado kasi sa Game of Thrones.
Okay. So, gusto ko lang kasi makarelate kasi very complex yung story. It's the same as, it's as complex as your story about Jesus. But it's like, in order for me to relate, let me share this to you. There's this parang sila, like very clanist, diba? So, they only respect a particular, like yung last name. So, for example, Stark. So, sa isang clan, they will only accept if the next king will be a Stark. So parang ganun. So it's like they're expecting that kasi they have this high respect for David. So siguro makes sense na yung descendant ni David ng the next king or the next overthrower. Parang ganun.
Oo, kasi meron kasing promise si God sa Old Testament, no, na hindi mawawalan ng king ang tribe ni David.
Okay.
So, yun nga nangyari, no, na sila ay na captive sa ibang empire. Kaya nagkaroon ng stoppage o yung nagkaroon ng paghinto no ng pag-elect ng king or yung tinatawag na hierarchy ng king sa line ni David kasi nga merong mga intervals yung mga pagsakop ng Babylonia, Persia, ganun. So, ito yung promise ni God na hanggang sa panahon ng New Testament, no, panahon ni Jesus ay nanatiling buhay, no? Na they're hoping that the line of Jesse, the stamp from Jesse will come and then save us from this suffering. So yun yung nangyari.
I see. Na-add mo kasi yung na may word kang sinabi about ano yung term na binanggit mo kanina about the
apocalypticism?
No, the Jews starting to believe na he will come back.
Okay.
Na naggumawa na sila ng story about the miracles and then yung purpose lang talaga ni Jesus is ma-crucify sa cross. Ano yung parang anong term yan? Na there's parang view?
Exaltation view.
Exaltation view. Pag-add mo niyan, medyo mas nakaklaro ko na yung picture. I'm going to to summarize it again. Yung historical na Jesus na view is nasasakop lagi yung mga Jew. They suffered with all these mga conquering ng other countries sa sa lugar nila. So it makes sense na yung mga tao will wish for something. Will wish for someone. Will even think na mag-alsa tayo, let's go fight, but they can't because they are really they are limited, they are oppressed. So obviously, yung papasok sa isip na there will be a time na ma-okay ito lahat. That's their hope, to survive, to go through the next day. Kasi if they don't have any hope, magsusuicide sila lahat, diba? So that's what's keeping them alive. So they wish na yung lineage ni David mag-pop up, and then yun na yung magiging Messiah. So ilang years yun, ilang hundreds of years ang diba ang pagitan.
Nasa 400 years.
Yeah, 400 years na. 400 years
na
naghihintay. So, may mga nagsulputan. They say na sila na yung Messiah. Hindi sila si Jesus, but someone. We don't know the names, but napatay sila. They got crucified over ilang beses until nag-arrive si Jesus. Now, they think na ito na talaga, siya na talaga, he is the one. But then he got crucified. So, failure na naman. It's another blow to the Jewish people na, another Messiah gone. Paano na natin ma-overthrow tong very oppressive na dictator. So, he died. So, everyone was devastated, nabuwag yung parang samahan or yung group na gustong mag-overthrow. And an intention talaga ni Jesus at that time was to overthrow.
Ibalik the restoration of Israel. Yun yung pinaka-punto talaga ng Messiah.
Okay,
the Messiah was not supposed to die. But he must be victorious against the Roman occupiers.
Okay, so that's the slightly different na Jesus sa divine na Jesus. Kasi I was thinking na yung divine Jesus was just brought forth into this world para mag-give out ng mga good messages to remind the people na, hey, I'm here to cleanse all of your sins, and I am the God in human form. So yun yung other side. But may sa history na side is very human. Like overthrow talaga. It makes sense na, yep, here I am. I'm going to criticize this government. I'm going to gain following para makabuo ako ng big following na big soldiers na big enough that can really cause a revolution. But he failed. He died. People were sad. And then yun, may mga cognitive dissonance na nabanggit mo. Sabi mo na yung mga followers niya, sabi he will come back. And no people at that time believed that people can come back to life after they died, diba? Wala namang instances na ganun, or may mga belief na sila na ganun?
May mga beliefs na sila. Kasi yung na-incorporate na yung idea of resurrection.
I
although in
see.
the Old Testament, resurrection is not a big deal because there's no mention of resurrection there anywhere
see.
else. But during those times na nasakop na sila ng Greece, the Platonic idea, yung mga beliefs ni Plato ay na-incorporate na rin sa Judaism. Kaya nga sabi doon, ang Judaism sa time ni Jesus ay so much Hellenistic Judaism na kasi yung panahon ni Jesus, yung Judaism.
Anong Hellenistic? Can you explain?
Ibig sabihin ng Hellenistic is that medyo nahaluan na ng mga Greek culture yung purely Jewish culture.
Okay.
Kasi sa Jewish culture, there's no hell, there's no heaven. People are, if we are going to die, we just papunta lang tayo doon sa pit.
Okay.
Doon sa hukay, no? Doon lang tayo pupunta. But here comes the Hellenistic views about life. There's the afterlife, immortality, resurrection. At natanggap ito ng mga Jew kasi nga napaka-interesting ng mga views na I will come back to life.
Kasi ilang years sila sinakop, di ba?
Hundreds of years, no?
Na-incorporate talaga nila,
Na-incorporate yung culture ng Greece. Kaya nga, sa panahon na yon, nung sa 400 years of silence, at saka yung panahon ni Jesus, people now are believing in resurrection except for the Pharisees. Because the Sadducees, if I'm not mistaken, the Sadducees are the ones who are proclaiming these things, na there will be a resurrection. But the Pharisees are skeptical to that.
Okay.
I don't know. I have to check it back if I'm right. So, yun yung idea doon eh. Meron kasing arguments sa time na yun nga. Is there really a resurrection? Okay. And there are groups of people who said na no, there's no such thing. And the Hellenized Judaism are believing in it.
Okay, balik ako So, doon, sabi ng nagka-cognitive dissonance yung mga followers niya, they think na babalik siya. And it makes sense at that time kasi they have this view na may chance naman talagang mababalik yung tao, especially if it's a special kind of person. So they don't believe that Jesus is like God figure, but since they believe na mariresurrect ang tao kasi they have that belief already na incorporate sa kanila from the Romans. So they have that idea na babalik siya. He will come back. But then he didn't come back. Ilang years and no. May movement ba yung samahan? May actions ba sila o talagang nabuwag sila after Jesus died?
Pagkatapos kasi ng event no na si Jesus na crucify, medyo may
ba sila or what?
Watak sila pero may mga solid talaga na naninirahan sa Jerusalem kagaya na Peter, James at saka kay John. Na sila ay nag-establish talaga ng core group, no? So, hindi sila talagang public talaga, pero meron silang core group, no? They are being regarded as the pillars, no? Sina James, Peter, and John. And here comes the most interesting event na nangyari sa Christianity is that when Paul came, he really revolutionized Christianity because the Christianity before Paul is very different from the Christianity na nangyari sa panahon ni Paul. At ang Christianity na kilala natin sa ngayon, it goes back to Paul and not to the Jesus or the early disciples of Jesus, the 12 disciples. Because
doon na yung naghalo na yung historicity ni Jesus with the divine.
Yun nga. Kasi nga, ang malaking proponent kasi ng pagbago sa views about Jesus is si Paul. Kasi si Jesus, kung babasahin natin yung Gospels, ay hindi yung kanyang sarili ang mensahe. Meron siyang mensahe. Ang mensahe ni Jesus, ito lang. The kingdom of God is at hand. So, ito ay mangyayari within our generation. In Mark chapter 9 verse 1, it says, there are few in here who will not taste death until the kingdom of God will be established dito sa mundo. So, sinasabi niya, mangyayari na ito ngayon. Kaya
ngayon, Joachim, in context sa time nila, not ngayon na ngayon.
Noon sa time nila.
Sa time nila, okay.
In this generation, sabi ni Jesus, this generation will not pass. No, meron pang mga buhay na makakita talaga na the kingdom of God will be established here on earth. So, sa panahon niya, no, ni Jesus.
Sa perspective, kung ako yung Romans at that time, Jerem, and then when I hear that, I will really be threatened. That's really a strong, very strong na words from an ordinary person. Parang talaga, you're a real threat, kaya wala na akong choice but to put you down. Di ba? That's what's happening now, right? If there is someone na very critical sa government, di ba?
Yan nga yung mga CPP, di ba? Parang yung mga CCP ngayon, ito yung parang nangyari sa panahon ni Jesus.
Yeah.
They're thinking that they were right and this is the best time na mag-alsa na tayo. Kasi nga napaka-sobra na kasi ang malaking reklamo kasi nung panahon nila is the taxation. Kasi yung taxation sa Roma masyadong masyadong mahal kasi nga they're building aqueducts, nagpatay sila ng mga domes, yung
mamahaling technology.
Yung mga sports complex. Mahal din yun kasi hindi mo malaking labor din yan. So they need the taxation talaga. So yun nga, nag-revolt si Jesus against John. So I mean, did you just compare Jesus to an NPA? Yeah. Parang ganun yun. Kasi they're revolutionizing against the current the government. No, yung panahon na yun. Kasi ang role kasi ng war, pag nasakop ka na, yung batas namin ang masusunod.
Yeah.
If you go against to that, then sedition ang tawag diyan. 'Di ba? Yun nga yung sa law natin ngayon, meron bang sedition kasi meron ding sedition na pinag-usapan.
May parang toxic na comment nga Jeremy, 'di ba, about mga Pinoy na sasabihin na sana nasakop na lang tayo ng Spaniards, so sana sinakop na lang tayo ng Japan kasi mas uunlad ang Pilipinas. No. Uunlad Pilipinas pero there will no longer be Filipinos. You will all be dead. Mauubos tayo, 'di ba? That's that's what will happen kasi yun naman talaga yung yun naman talaga yung parang mangyayari when you conquer a country. The people na who are the conquerors will do everything in their power to impose and to corrupt and all and discriminated ka na. So no, don't wish for us to be na sana nasakop na lang tayo ng Japan. No, wala nang Pinoy ngayon kung nasakop tayo ng Japan.
Okay, Jan, so going back to the issue the topic so iyon ang message ni Jesus. But yung Jesus na pinipreach ni Paul, siya na mismo yung message. Na nakuha mo yung pagkakaiba. Jesus message, but to Paul, Jesus is the message because sabi niya, I intend not to know anything among you except Jesus who died on the cross. Except of him crucified, sabi ni Paul. So, sabi niya, walang ang pinaka-message ko talaga is yung pagkapako ni Jesus sa cross.
That's
so,
the
si
message.
Jesus ngayon ay naging, yun yung message. But si Jesus, yung historical Jesus, is that he has a message. Hindi siya yung mensahe. Di ba? Sa Christianity ngayon, Jesus talaga mensahe, di ba? Jesus died for you. Di ba? Sabi doon, he saved you by his blood, pagkamatay niya. But Jesus Jesus was not preaching about crucifixion. He was not preaching about salvation from sin, but he was preaching about the kingdom of God is almost here.
And he's criticizing at the same time, diba? He's criticizing the rulers.
Criticizing the government. Criticizing the government. He called them vipers, snakes, yung mga coffin na.
I would like that Jesus, I would like that kind of Jesus na nagki-criticize, di ba? Kasi that's a risky thing to do and he's doing his own people a favor, di ba? Kasi nga, we don't want to be tayo, di ba, sa government natin.
Subjugated, no?
And I personally would, I would appreciate or respect that kind of Jesus, yung activist na kind of Jesus. Diba? And anong weird kasi ang Christians now, most Christians na nasa Facebook doesn't like people na magkikriticize sa own government nila. Hindi ba? Any country, di ba? Any country. Why are you stopping people from criticizing? Yung Jesus mo mismo is a very, very active.
Diba? He's a proto-Marxist sabi nga ng iba, proto-Marxist siya.
yung mga, kung totoo yung story na may mga, ano siya, yung mga binaliktad na mga tables doon sa church, sa loob.
Sa temple.
Sa temple yun mismo, di ba? Na ayaw niya ng mga sugal doon. Tinapon niya, ayaw niya yung mga grave images.
By the way, Jan, to correct this misconception, there's no kanang gambling in the temple.
Okay, ano yun?
The idea there is that nangyari kasi yung mga Levites sa panahon ni Jesus, yung naging negosyo. Naging negosyo kasi yung offering. Kasi pag mag-offer ka ng lamb doon sa temple, mahirap kasi yun bilhin kasi nga maraming scrutinizing na mga paraan para sa pagpili ng lamb talaga. Dapat kumpleto ang kanyang mga ngipin, wala siya mga galos,
okay.
O talagang napaka-healthy niya. Talagang yung napakain talaga, yung pinaka-purpose ang talaga ito, mag-aalaga ka ng kambing o yung ng karnero, mag-aalaga ka. For the purpose ang talaga na ito ay para sa sacrifice. Kaya dapat perfect yan, hindi yan magalusan, wala yung mga sugat-sugat, ganyan. So, ang nangyari kasi, meron nang naka-ready doon sa temple, o bili ka, ito kwanto, 10,000 ito, ganyan. So, yun yung hindi nagustuhan ni Jesus kasi nga, he is now already trying to exercise his power as the king. Na hindi ko tatanggapin ang ganitong mangyayari sa temple. So, yung office ng Levites, yung pagka-priest sa temple, they are being bought and sold, no? Halimbawa ngayon, bibilhin ko yung position mo diyan, yung kasi malaking pera kasi doon nangyari sa temple eh. So, merong bibili. O akong papalit sa iyo diyan. So, yun yung ayaw ni Jesus na mangyari sa temple. Kaya ginawa niya yung ang tawag niya, the cleansing of the temple, yung sabi niya. So he is already now exercising na I am really the Messiah. I'm going to change things. Yan yung pinaka-point doon.
Thank you for correcting me on that, Jorim, so you're saying na instead na yung process ng pag-offer ng kambing is you taking care of the goat, nawala yung process na yon, nawala yung pag-alaga mo sa goat, you just have to simply buy a goat and then yun yung i-offer mo. So parang nagawa ng loophole yung di ba? Parang ganun. So he doesn't like
naging business na naging business. Sa Old Testament naman, hindi naman talaga naging business yung instruction sa Old Testament, yung sa Torah. Hindi naman business yung instruction.
Very consistent siya.
Pero sa Jesus,
sa personality niya ba, na-realize ko, very consistent siya sa fact na ayaw niya yung capitalism. I mean, not the whole capitalism, but the corruption na nangyayari sa capitalism, di ba? Ayaw niya. So, yun. Okay. Then,
itong view na to, John, it will explain those bizarre teachings ni Jesus sa Gospels. Kasi nga, yung sinasabi na if you are punched on the face, just turn him the other.
Okay, turn the other cheek. Okay.
Kung nanakawin yung damit, ibigay mo na yung kanyang
very bizarre talaga at that time and even until now, Jorim, even until now. So okay,
so I will continue because this is very interesting. This idea na pag nagkasala ang iyong mata, you pluck out your eyes, and then it is better for you to have one eye than to go into the kingdom with two eyes, but makasalanan.
Okay, so ko lang yung mga words na yun, in the perspective na kingdom, na literal na kingdom, right? Yung gusto niyang kingdom for his people. Okay.
So
at the kingdom view, yung sa divine na view na sa kingdom in heaven, no. Kingdom here on earth.
Here on earth.
Okay.
No, this tinatawag ito ng mga scholars, just like Albert Schweitzer and other scholars na nag-focus talaga sa historical Jesus. They view this as the interim ethics. So itong interim ethics, ang ibig sabihin nito is the kingdom of God will come sooner or later. So there will be no time for marriage. There will be no time for suing somebody to court. Kasi nga, pag halimbawa nagkaroon ka ng kalaban, no? Gusto mong sa abogado kasi nga nagkasala siya, gusto mo siya magbayad o makulong. There will be no time for that because the kingdom is at the edge na, no, parang any moment hinihintay lang natin yung sign, darating na yung kingdom. The Roman Empire will collapse, and then the establishment of the kingdom of God will be imminent na. So kaya nga yung mga ethics na yun ay hindi ito yung mali ng mga Christians ngayon, no, kasi parang gusto nilang ipakita, no, na itong teaching ni Jesus ay applicable din sa ating time. Pero hindi kasi nga itong mga ethics na to ay parang interim lang, tawagan dito. Interim lang kasi sabi ko nga, no, wala nang time for marriage, wala nang time for showing somebody to court or kanang yung pag ninakaw yung damit mo, wala nang panahon para habulin mo pa yun. Ibigay mo na lang kasi nga that you will now enter into the kingdom. So after doon sa kingdom, meron namang bagong set of rules. Yun nga yung tinatawag na meron ng peace, no, na mangyayari doon. So itong mga ethics na ito ay hindi talaga ito for universal or for everybody or para sa atin lahat ngayon sa present time natin ngayon dyan. Hindi ito applicable kasi ito lang ay mangyayari lamang or ito ay ethics lamang na para lang doon sa pinaka-specific na time na sinasabi ni Jesus na the kingdom of God will arrive soon. So there's no time for anything. So there will no marriage, something like that. So
Okay.
ito yung the best explanation kasi napaka-weird na sabihin natin na turn the other cheek. Hindi naman talaga applicable yan, di ba? So may mga Christian ngayon, they're preaching na ito ay nagpapakita ng pagpapakumbaba, di ba? No. So instead na tayo ay mag-away, ay wala na, talagang magpapatawad ka na lang. Which is also good, no? Pero
Not good all the time. No, not good all the time.
hindi naman talaga parang ano lang natin yung justice. Halimbawa, hindi ka nabugbog ka, natanggapin mo lang 'yan.
Hindi pwede.
Hindi naman
pupunta ka, di
hindi
ba?
naman
Magrereklamo ka, oo.
So what I'm saying is that this ethics na pinopromote ni Jesus is only good for a short time lang na kasi nga nasa kanyang mindset ni Jesus na darating na talaga yung kingdom, so there will be no time for anything na ipupurso natin as human beings doing things about justice, about something like that.
Okay.
So yun ang nangyari, but the Christianity that we know today is very different, no, sa panahon ni Jesus, because ang Christianity natin ngayon is based on the teachings of Paul.
Yan, continue na balik tayo. Thank you, Jorim. Kay Paul na tayo. Doon tayo nag-stray away. Sige, continue, Jorim.
So yung Christianity ni Paul, yun na yung alam natin ngayon, and there is the salvation from sin. There is this speaking of tongues na nangyayari.
There is this Jesus na the message. Jesus is the message.
Jesus is the message. No, the cross is the message. So yun yung Christianity na alam natin ngayon. Galing yan kay Paul. So very different from the historical Jesus.
And is he the person na parang talagang nag-shift talaga sa movement into something na very big? Si Paul ba ang start? Okay. Siya yung napaka-big kasi nga sa 2 Corinthians, if you are interested in reading the issue behind Paul and the original apostles, the 12 apostles and Paul, malaki kasi yung issue na nung time na yun kasi sa 12 disciples of Jesus, hindi tanggap si Paul. Hindi natanggap si Paul kasi nga ang criteria for you to be ordained or be chosen as an apostle, you have to be in the ministry of Jesus. So dapat witness ka doon sa ministry ni Jesus, and then you're also present at the resurrection of Jesus. The present kasi yung mga very
present
strict.
Sa
parang hindi na sila nag-a-add ng new members talaga. It's very strict.
Kasi the circle of brothers yung parang nangyari sa kanila
Very strict Okay.
You have to be a witness, no? Nung panahon nga na siyempre namatay si Judas kasi nga siya ay ito rin yung malaking discrepancy, no, sa narration sa gospel and then Luke, sa Acts, is that sabi doon sa Matthew ay si Judas ay nagbigti. Pero may isang account doon sa Acts na nagsasabi na si Judas ay tumalon sa isang building. namatay. So, ano, saan ba talaga ang totoo dyan, no? Pero ang point lang natin dito is, yung panahon na napalitan na si Judas, kasi nga, kailangan 12 eh. Importante kasi yung number na 12 kasi you're representing the 12 tribes of Israel. O kaya 12. So, nung nawala na yung isa, na 11 na lang sila, there will be a need na magdagdag sila ng isa. So, nagpili sila at pinili nila yung taong tinatawag na si Matthias. Si Matthias ay witness din sa mga pangyayari sa ministry ni Jesus. Kasama siya ni Jesus on time na siya ay nasa Galilee at siya yung pupunta sa Jerusalem. Witness siya doon. At also, nandun din siya sa resurrection ni Jesus. Si Matthias. Kaya siya ang napili. But to Paul, hindi naman kasama ni Jesus si Paul sa ministry.
Outsider siya.
Outsider siya. At saka hindi din siya witness doon sa resurrection. Kaya hindi nila matanggap si Paul na missionary. Kaya sabi na, sige, maghiwalay tayo. Doon ka mag-mission sa ibang lugar. Huwag mo kami pakialaman dito.
Yun yung start ng faction?
Oo. Yun yung parting of the ways.
Okay.
Kasi nga, Paul now are discouraging people to follow the Torah. And while the original disciples of Jesus are promoting and then following the teaching of Moses. They are kasi ang nangyari kasi sa panahon ni Jesus, no, at saka yung mga disciples niya, they're just a little faction from Judaism. So in a sense na they are still practicing Judaism sa mga disciples ni Jesus at si Jesus mismo. Kaya nga sinabi ni Jesus doon sa Gospels na I'm not here sa Matthew chapter 6 or chapter 5. I'm not here to abolish the law but to fulfill it.
Okay.
No? So ang iba naman pagkaintindi ng mga Christian dito is hindi na niya i-abolish pero i-fulfill niya. So ibig sabihin matatapos na kasi meron na siyang bago. Kaya nga New Testament kasi bago na. So it's a wrong understanding kasi nga ang sabi niya na I did not come here to abolish but to fulfill it. Ibig sabihin niya, totoo pa rin niya. Ibig sabihin, if-follow niya yung mga teaching ni Moses, wala siyang binago. Wala siyang babaguhin doon. At saka yung mga original disciples of Jesus are following the Torah. They observe Sabbath, they observe, they're wearing tzitzit. Yung mga Jewish kasi dyan, alam mo yung mga suot nila, meron silang mga strings dito sa kanilang, parang sa kanilang belt.
Strings?
Meron silang nilalagay. Meron silang mga strings.
Visible ba? Hindi ko alam yan. Visible yung strings?
Oo, visible. Makikita mo talaga yung mga Jew. Meron silang 4 dito sa kabila, 2 dito isa. Parang sinusuot kasi din yan, yung tinatawag na tzitzit. It was kanang commanded by Moses, no, na isusuot na. Kasi sa panahon din ni Jesus, no, in Luke chapter 8, it was mentioned that people are wearing tzitzit sa kanyang time, and then also they're wearing phylacteries, yung parang box dito sa kanilang yung mga Jews na Abe Ameno, yung mga ganyan ng mga
singit lang, Jerim. Sabi mo kasi small faction lang sila Jesus sa Jewish na belief. Supported ba sila? Judaism. Supported ba sila sa Judaism or are they really a faction na are in conflict with one another?
They're also in conflict because they're believing in the man Jesus as the Messiah, while the rest of the Jewish people are he's
it's a problematic movement. Kasi you're making a division instead of uniting the Jews, 'di ba? Para if to make a revolution, 'di ba? You need to be friends with kapwa lahat ng Jews, but here comes Jesus na instead na ma-unite dapat kalaban na din nila mismo yung kapwa nila Jew.
Kasi nga he's proclaiming that I am the one, but the majority of Jews are rejecting him as crook. Kasi nga hindi na matanggap yung mga view ni Jesus at saka yung mga disciples. But here now comes Paul that says na hindi naman talaga importante yung Torah So doon na nagsimula yung faction nga, what? Huwag mong sabihin na ganyan kasi nga it is a blasphemy against God. Na hindi na kailangan natin yung Old Testament, hindi natin kailangan yung Torah. Kasi nga sabi ni Paul sa Galatians 2:21, if the righteousness comes from fulfilling the law, then Jesus' death will be nothing. Wala nang value yung kamatayan niya kung ang righteousness pala ay makakuha natin through observing the Torah or following the laws of Moses. So yan yung argument ni Paul, and then yun na nagsimula na sila ay nagkaroon ng split, no? disciples of Jesus are now separating themselves from Paul's faction, kasi iba na rin yung faction ni Paul, no? Ang time na yon. At he's encouraging now those non-Jews or non-Jewish individuals to come into the faith. Now you can remain pagan, but at the same time you can be welcome ka, no, sa grupo namin. So yun yung nangyayari, na meron na na-convert na mga hindi Jew sa Christianity. At yun na, yung time na yun, doon na nasulat mostly yung mga writings sa New Testament, no? At saka yung mga non-recognized or non-canonized Gospels. Kasi may Gospel of Thomas, Gospel of Mary, Gospel of Peter. So hindi na yung mga natanggap kasi nga meron ng mga faction eh. So from Paul, doon na nag-exist yung iba't ibang mga factions within Christianity. Meron ng meron ng mga Ebionites, meron na yung mga iba't ibang mga grupo, no, ng mga Christian na nagsasabi na hindi naman talaga masamang tao si Judas. He is fulfilling what was the order of God, no, yung the higher God, kasi yung God of the Old Testament is an evil God. So Judas and Jesus are doing the things that the higher God is ordering them. Okay. So parang yun, may mga Christian na ganun. And then there are also Christians who are still following the Torah of Moses and regard Paul as a heretic.
Okay.
So yun yung mga issue ng time na yun. And then comes Constantine, the Emperor Constantine, and then suddenly sa kanyang time, no, naging legal na yung version ng Christianity na sinusubscribe niya, kasi yung Christianity ni Paul
Okay.
Constantine. So, yung
how come, di ba parang threat ito? How come parang may peace ba na nangyayari behind the scenes? Like, is this like a conspiracy? Kasi, di ba, pinapatay yung movement ni Jesus. Then suddenly, yung mismong leader, he accepts the view of Paul. So, what do you think? Ano yung parang nangyari dito?
Ito nangyari kasi si Constantine, medyo delusional din kasi itong si Constantine. One time, nung meron siyang planong kalabanin, no, na empire. Isang gabi na naginip siya, parang napaginipan niya, parang cross pero according to some historians, no, na yung napaginipan niyang cross, hindi naman talaga yung cross, but yung symbol bitaw sa Egypt, yung parang ganon, tas may ganyan.
Yung
hindi
parang
ko maalala
hook. Parang may hook and then may ganon sa parang cross pero hook yung shape niya. Okay.
Yun sabi ng mga historian na yun yung napaginipan niya. But para kay Constantine talaga, it was the cross of Jesus. Kaya nga, sabi niya, kausapin ko ngayon mga Christian dito, dalhin mo dito. At saka yun na, na-convert siya. At naging kalaunan, naging state religion na yung version of Christianity ni Paul sa empire ng Roman.
I was thinking na parang may conspiracy kasi eto as a perspective ko naman as an emperor or as a leader. Sabi ko 'di ba dati I will kill yung mga potentials. Me as a bad leader, I will kill the potentials. Now, since matagal na tong away between the Jews and the Romans, instead of killing, kasi dadami lang yung followers ng Christians, I will think of a better plan. Like siguro, i-allow ko yung version ng Christianity na corrupted, na something I can agree with, kaya gawin ko siyang state na religion. So hindi pala, so you're saying hindi pala yun yung nangyari. I was thinking like that. Hindi pala ganun yung nangyari is na-convince pala talaga si Constantine.
Na-convince si Constantine sa version ng Christianity ni Paul. Kaya yun nga, very political din. At parang Hitler kasi si Constantine. Meron siyang pagka-delusional just like Hitler. It's very parang delusional. At the same time, political. So sabi niya,
ang gandang combination naman yan. Delusional and political.
Kaya nga, sabi niya, if gagawin ko tong state religion, tong version ng Christianity nito, I can unite all the people in one religion. Kasi nga, sa time kasi nila, Constantine lang, Nero, there's no specific kasi na mga religions because everybody has his own God, has his own deity to observe, and then practices, mga piyesta nila, iba't iba. Kaya sabi ni Constantine, napaka hindi organized yung ating empire kung ganito ang palagi mangyayari. So what if I can unite these people through one religion, and then mangyayari na yung tinatawag niya na unifications, no, sa kanyang empire. So that's why political yung pinaka-basis talaga niya. Some historians disagree, or sometimes they are being reluctant to was Constantine really kanang convinced, no, sa teaching ng Christianity. Some say that he's just using it for his political purpose. So, yun nga, sinasabi niya, to unite the empire, kailangan niyang gawin itong state religion, yung Christianity. And then, once na naging state religion na itong Christianity, ang nangyari dito dyan is, yung mga hindi agree doon sa version ng Christianity, ay pinapatay na nila. So, that's why some gospels na pinopromote ng ibang Christian ay hindi na canonize. Gaya ng Gospel of Peter, Apocalypse of Peter, iba't iba pa mga Gospel of Judas, talagang na regarded na ito as heresy kasi nga hindi ito incompatible kasi sa version ng Christianity ni Paul. Kasi napakaiba, di ba? Sa New Testament, makikita natin sino yung pinaka-evil na tao dyan, di ba? Si Judas lang, di ba? Siya yung pinaka-evil dyan sa New Testament. But in some other circles of Christian, Judas was regarded as a hero. Kasi if you think about it, if the purpose of Christ is to die and then cleanse us from our sins, that means he has to die. But who is the one, or who was the one na talagang nagiging factor upang mangyari itong pagkamatay ni Jesus? It was Judas.
Yeah, Judas was just fulfilling his role.
Fulfilling his role. Then why you regarded him as an evil and the face of Satan in all the paintings sa ating culture natin sa Europe? He was painted as an evil guy.
I can even create a story na sasabihin ko. I don't know if this is already a story, but I can say na Judas wasn't really ready to betray Jesus, but then angels came up to him and said na you need to do this, and he was really devastated. Di niya gustong gawin ng gustong ipagawa ng mga angels sa kanya. But then he has to fulfill his mission. So yun, tinraidor niya si Jesus. Hindi niya kagustuhan yun. That's why he committed suicide. Kasi hindi niya nakayanan yung guilt. Something like that. I can create a story like that. It's not basing on anything, but I can imagine a story like that, di ba?
Yeah. But it's very interesting dyan kasi nga, when Judas kissed Jesus, may version kasi na sinasabi ni Jesus na good job, gudan.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Kasi nga sa book of John, sa gospel, no, sa book of John, sabi ni Jesus kay sa kanyang mga disciples, someone here is trying to betray me, and then they're saying, wow, sino kaya sa atin? And then kumuha si Judas ng tinapay. Sabi ni Jesus, the one who kanang yung nag-dip ng kanyang bread sa wine kasama ako, yun yung magbibitray sa akin. At saka sabi ni Jesus kay Judas, you need to fulfill your mission. Sabi niya, hindi yung exact word na you need to fulfill your mission, but that was the message. Sabi niya, yun nga yun. You have to do your work, sabi ni Jesus kay Judas. Okay, it's getting interesting dyan, no?
Sige.
So yun nga yun nangyari, no, na si Jesus ay sinabi niya kay Judas na you need to do your job. At yun nga, he was delivered by Judas sa mga authorities upang siya ay mapatay sa cross. So yun na, it was the story that Judas committed suicide was a later invention ng mga Christians in order to make someone na ma-blame doon sa kamatayan ni Jesus. At yun nga, yung nangyari na siya ay na-label na siya as traitor, yun na yung naging association ng mga Christian sa Jew. Kaya sinabi ng mga Christian na the one to blame for the death of Jesus was the Jew or the Jewish people, and they are being personified in the person of Judas. Kaya nga sabi doon sa Matthew chapter 28, yung sabi ni si Pontius Pilate na, oy, wala akong kasalanan dito kayo yung ano dito, yung liable sa mangyayari dito. Let his blood be upon us and our children. Kaya nga it was used by Hitler no na idea na justify niya yung kanyang persecute sa mga Jew kasi nga sabi ni Jesus sabi ng mga Jewish people sa time ni Jesus na yung pagkamatay ni Jesus kasalanan namin at ng mga anak pa namin in the future, so I'm just doing what is the right thing, sabi ni Hitler. Kasi
marami kasing misconception about ng Hitler, diba, na atheist daw si Hitler.
Hindi naman siya atheist kasi napaka-religious niya.
Ang daming sinabi niya na related to religion. He isn't an atheist. He's a deeply religious person. So it's a misconception.
Meron pang collaboration between the Catholic Church and Hitler sa time na yan. His birthday is being celebrated.
I have that book somewhere. Yung Pope something. Hitler's Pope.
Okay. Kasi nga, yung nangyari, yung birthday pa nga ni Hitler, sineselebrate sa church. Noong time na yun. So, he was using those kanang verses na nanggaling sa Matthew. But, ang nangyari kasi dito dyan, nung sa time ni Jesus is, the Jewish people are having issue with the new sect na tinatawag na Christianity. Hindi matanggap ng mga Christian na denounce sila ng kanilang sariling clan o ng kanilang sariling kadugo, no, na sila ay naging delusional, hindi talaga sila naging matino, no, kasi nga they're believing in a person na hindi naman talaga na-fulfill ang kanyang mission. Saka yun nga na-create na may mga pangyayari na ang mga Jew ay na-persecute based on the accusations of Christians sa time na nasa 70s hanggang sa umabot na yung mga 2nd century. There were persecution of Jews because of the accusation, no, na sila yung pumatay kay Jesus. At ang pinakapunot dulo talaga nito ay si Paul. Yan yung idea.
I see. Wait, si Paul, question ko, ano yung leanings ni Paul? Like, siya ba yung the original na Roman Catholic? Yan ba yung parang niya? Sa lahat ng denominations ng mga Christian churches, there are, ano siya? Like, yung most teachings ba niya are Roman Catholic or what? How can you call that kind of?
Si Paul kasi napaka-diverse kasi si Paul.
Okay.
Some scholars would make him Torah observant, and some scholars would make him Torah deniers. Okay. Maraming version kasi si Paul merong Paul na apocalyptic.
Okay.
Pareho, may nagsasabi na si Paul at saka si Jesus pareho lang ang kanilang view na napaka-apocalyptic because
walang common consensus. That's what you're saying. Walang general na consensus about him. Okay.
Kasi yung Roman Catholic na doctrines or yung principles na mga teaching nila, it was a later development from Paul. Hindi talaga si Paul ang original na Catholic, but some of his views were adapted into this. Kasi nung time ni Constantine, doon na nabuo yung Catholicism talaga.
Okay.
So some of his views are adapted and some of his views was rejected, just like the view of apocalypticism, because ang apocalyptic view kasi ni Paul, talagang they're putting it into a human perspective kasi. So kingdom of God will be established on earth. So hindi naman talaga yan napaka-Christian so nire-reject yun. And saka yung ibang views niya, just like is Jesus God, naging issue na din nung panahon ni Constantine. But ang pinaka-issue talaga doon is saang punto si Jesus nagiging God. Yun yung debate sa Constantine area.
An interesting topic that we can discuss in the next episode, Jorim. I don't want to keep you. It's already 12 noon and I don't know if nakapagsaing ka. It's almost 12 noon and I'm sorry for keeping you this long. Guys, we're really lucky to have Jorim in our call, both theist and atheist. Again, guys, we are not here to give you information na at kami dapat yung paniwalaan nyo, kami dapat yung sundin nyo. No, we could be wrong. We are wrong most of the times. Kaya don't believe us. Please don't believe us. Don't take us like the authorities of truth. We're just here discussing about stuff in our own perspective. And at the same time, we also give light sa perspective ng theists para may idea yung theist na alam namin yung perspective ninyo. And the only problem is you are not aware na may perspective kami. So yun yung dapat kayo ma-interest about. Again, balik ako sa point ko na guys, please legitimize our being an atheist. We are not an atheist just because we want to sin. We are not an atheist just because hindi may mga traumatic experiences kami sa past. We are atheists because of these topics, these problems, these errors, these common things, these questions that can't be answered, yung mga uncertainties talaga, the fact na ideas can be exaggerated, can be lost, its value, and so on. So yun yung legit namin na mga reklamo. So we would love to believe in a divine Jesus, in a divine God. We would love to believe that, but wala kulang. Kulang kami ng anything that will solidify our belief in a God. So here we are. Ako, medyo agree ako sa historical na Jesus. Jorim is convinced that there really is a Jesus. For me, medyo doubtful ako, especially when Jorim only came out and said na yung one of the evidence is there is really a guy who knows Jesus. Sabi mo yun, isa yung evidence, di ba, na sinabi mo na there's really one person that knew the brother of Jesus Christ. So for you, that's convincing enough kasi based on his credentials, based on his stories, based on what happened to him, then that's a good foundation to believe that there really was a Jesus Christ, Jesus of Nazareth. Ako naman medyo kulang. I still believe that there really was a Jesus, but not really sure about that. Kasi ang hirap naman talagang i-prove historically na may nag-exist, di ba? It's all we have experienced this time and time again na we thought that this figure did really exist in the past and did really do these things, pero it turns out myth lang pala. 'Di ba may mga ganun like sino yung mga tao yun na na we thought were true but na nag-exist but turns out hindi pala, na mga lang pala, mga legend lang pala, mga ganun. Sorry, hindi ko ma-mention but siguro magpa-flash na lang sila sa screen kasi hindi. Sa War of Troy, na hindi yun totoo, mga ganun. Pero I can name a few. May mga napanood kasi akong mga YouTube videos na we thought they really existed but turns out hindi pala. So yun, medyo hindi ako convinced sa sinabi mo about the proof. So I need to read more, Jorim, para ma-convince talaga ako really was.
Marami pang proof pero kulang tayo sa time eh.
Oo nga, kulang. Even though we're already 2 hours.
So that is just one view na kana ipinakita ko, but there are other things to prove na there could really be a man named Jesus. Just like most of the people in the ancient world, we don't have evidence of their existences, like Plato, Aristotle, and then the Roman emperors. We don't have sufficient evidence.
Mahirap i-prove
na nag-exist, but we don't have problem with them. We just believe that they really exist, or accept the fact that they really exist. So too with Jesus. But it is very interesting that those people I mentioned, we have only few writings about them. But to Jesus, there are plenty and thousands of documents that points out to a person that there's really a man.
Then din yung yan din yung sinasabi ni Bert Ehrman. Yung ko kasi, Jeremy, yung knowledge ko kasi about the historicity of Jesus is Yung mga una akong na-expose information is yung mga nagbanggit ko noon, ng mga historian, yung Christos was just a misunderstood lang na hindi talaga yan si Jesus, but that's a label. Christos is a common label to a person na Messiah-like, but he wasn't really referring to Jesus. This one is fake, plagiarized daw to. May mga yun yung exposure ko. I'm not exposed na sa side mo, sa side ni Bart Ehrman that there really wasn't there. It's there, mayroon palang overwhelming evidence na totoo pala talagang may Jesus. Except that we made stories to make him divine. Yun yung pinagkaiba. There really was a Jesus, but he was just a person na yung mission niya is to save his people. So, Jorim, before we end this call, kasi 12:00 na talaga, anything you want to say to the viewers?
Okay, so I hope na you learn a lot of things now sa aming discussion ni John. And it is also very interesting to look at now, because two people who are atheists, and yet at the end of the day, they are still something na they don't agree. Just like me and John, he's not really 100% convinced that there's really a man Jesus, and I'm not worried to that. I'm just fine with somebody saying that there's no such person as Jesus, just like what the mythicists are promoting now. Richard Carrier and Bob Price, Frank Sandler, those people, they're saying that there's no really historical Jesus. It was just a myth. It was invented, and I am fine with that. It's a very interesting topic. So for me, in my side, because this is my bias. No, I have to be very honest. This is my bias. No, in terms of this discussion, my bias is that I am medyo may leaning ako sa historicity. So yun yung view ko, and then doon ako nag-agree. And then there are other views, and it is just a conversation opener kasi ito na. When you look at us, when you watch us, and then listen to our conversation, and it will be an opportunity for you to look at the sources of our information. Sabi nga ni John, don't believe in us. That's what I want to happen sa ating lahat, no, na hindi tayo magtitiwala sa mga authorities, but it is an opportunity for you to look for sources na totoo ba kaya yung sinasabi ni Jorim, totoo kaya yung sinasabi ni John. So ito yung pinaka-point talaga. So less taboo na ang topic about God and atheism. This is the accomplishment that we want to happen. There will be no discriminations, there will be no judgment na sa bawat isa na ito
first conversion of opposing views.
Yan talagang i-degrade na natin yung tao kasi nga iba yung kanyang view. Just like as atheists, may mga maririnig pa rin tayong mga atheist yan, mga ano yan, walang kwenta, mga ganyan. So the purpose of this discussion is to achieve the goal na magkaroon tayo ng conversation. So
conversation.
I hope conversation, not conversion.
So not conversion, not indoctrination, all those stuff. No, conversation. Kasi
the conversation.
At the end of the day, we could all be wrong. We both could be wrong, and we're just speaking out false information here. So talk with us kasi you think you really are right, and you have something to say, and you have something to prove. Yun.
Yung pinaka-goal talaga ba na sasabihin natin, dito sa aking Bible ba, impyerno ka daw. Dito sa aking impyerno ka daw dito eh. Di ba? Kaibigan lang tayong lahat. Ganun ang gusto namin mangyari. So, wala nang mga discrimination, at saka it's a really parang ang tawag dito, parang magiging mas better na yung ating mundo pag ganito ang ating mindset. Open na tayo sa lahat ng bagay. So maraming salamat at napahaba-haba yung aming conversation. Napaka-interesting eh. Di ba? So hindi pa nga parang nasa ano na tayo,
Wala
nasa
pa.
1/8 pa lang.
Wala pa, hindi pa
1/8
natin
pa lang
na-touch
tayo,
yung,
di ba?
hindi pa tayo nagbukas ng isang page man lang sa Bible, Jorim. We're just talking about, nasa outside perspective pa lang tayo. We didn't even read one page of the Bible yet.
Yeah. So in the future, yun yung plano namin ni Jan sa kanyang channel. At ako naman, I'm just willing guy to help him out sa kanyang plan. So thank you for watching us, and then hope na mag-support kayo kay Jan. Salamat.
Salamat. Thank you, Jorim. Bye.